Quad City Chaos in a couple years. So
that's right. It is loud here in the bunker. I'm not sure if you can hear that feeding through in the feed. I haven't heard the bunker this loud since probably the championships last year. This crowd is ready for this game.
Plastic Patrick and Mr. Whistler firing up the crowd.
And there is Plastic Patrick about to introduce Montreal's new skids on the block. And Single Scott, can you tell us who is in the game tonight for the new skids?
Running down the roster for the new skids on the block. Number 123, Miracle Whips. Number 1X, Mange-moi, El Cure. Number 2, Little Mama. Number 289, She Is Greater. Number 33, Demand a Lashing. Number 3X, Smack Daddy. Number 40, Georgia W. Tush. Number 420, Mel Iwana. Number 454, Chasing Amy. Number 658, Surgical Strike. Number 8, Jess Bandit. Number 8080, Greta Bobo. Number F18, The Honey Badger. And number 35, Scores Easy. Derby Nerd, who's skating for CN Power?
Well, for CN Power in this particular game, we've got number 1205, Rennie Rumble, number 2, Dusty, number 2020, Candy Crossbones, number 204, Motorhead Molly, number 21, Dinah Hercha, number 23, Betty Bomber, number 26, Mega Mouth, also known as Mega Boosh, number 27, Jubilee, number 31, Bruceberry Pie, number 431, Scarcasm, number 747, Aims to Kill, number 807, Cookie Dough, number 905, Ballerina, number 99, Pantyhoser, rounds out the 14 skater roster for this showdown here against Montreal's new skids on the block. On the bench, it's Wade Wilson and Sonic Doom.
So not surprisingly, with the top 2 teams in Canada, Team Canada very well represented in this bout.
Yeah, that's right. 9 members of Montreal's new skids on the block are members of Team Canada. There are 5 members of Team Canada on Toronto's CN Power. Only 3 are dressed tonight. That is Dinah Hercha, Ballerina, and Dusty for CN Power. And you're hearing the roar. A lot of support here for the new skids on the block. Wow. A pumped crowd. This has been the first action of 2014, WFTDA-sanctioned action anyway, for the skids. And they're off to a good start so far this season. Toronto last week played their first sanctioned bout, a win against Kalamazoo. And here they are, your hosts in pink.
So both teams now have a few rookies on their roster. Skaters that are wearing the neon colors for the first time. For Montreal, playing really their first bouts for the new skids this weekend. Demand a Lashing, Scores Easy, and Miracle Whips.
Yeah. And who've all looked really good, too, in that opening game.
Played significant roles. They weren't just warming the bench. They were on the track and taking part in the game, playing well.
And, of course, they all came through Montreal's House League and B-Team system. They all played for the Les Sexpo before getting the experience here with Montreal's new skids on the block. And that's the same story for Toronto Roller Derby's CN Power's rookie this year as well. Aims to Kill and Scarcasm, both in action today. Both also came through the House League and the B-Team system. Scarcasm spent a season on the Bruisers. Aims to Kill spent 2 seasons on the Bruisers, developing and getting ready for this level of competitive roller derby. And there she is, Mega Boosh. They are saying boosh, not boo. One of the more popular skaters here in Toronto. Toronto really came on strong. They had a slow start to 2013, including losing 2 games here at the Quad City Chaos, but it was just picked up the pace from there on in and shocked a lot of people with wins over Sacred City and Boston in the playoffs before they lost to Atlanta in the divisional quarterfinals. But they jumped 20 spots in the WFTDA ranking from 49 all the way up to 29. Skids, I think for their own expectations, had a disappointing playoff last year.
Well, the goal for the Skids, especially coming in ranked second in their tournaments, was to make championships. And for them not to was just very disappointing.
Yeah.
Throw into the mix a couple of changes to the roster of fairly dramatic proportions in the offseason. Losing Bone Machine and especially Jammer Iron Wench. Both not just key members of the team, but like elite players in the country.
Yeah, both members of Team Canada.
You know, that definitely leaves questions about what Montreal is going to be like this season.
That's right. But they, so far, so good. And Meliwana out on the line first against Dusty. Number 2 in the pink for CN Power. Number 42 is 420 is Meliwana in the neon. And here we are, first jam.
Don't forget, we want you to be part of this conversation as well. Send us your tweets using the hashtag #2QCC, talk to QCC, and
talk to
join
us.
in. Yeah.
Be part of this event. Don't just be a spectator. And we are off. The whistle is released. Dusty having a hard time right now at the back of the pack. Surgical strike, Little Mama setting up a nice wall. Meliwana able to push the CN Power skaters to the front, and she is through as the first lead jammer goes to Montreal. Dusty having a really hard time. CN Power switching back to offense now as Meliwana already coming back around the track to score. The pack has barely moved. And Meliwana slips through past Rennie Rumble on the inside, picks up 5 points, a big grand slam.
Jess Bandit, Surgical Strike, and Little Mama doing a really good job at the front of the pack, holding up Dusty.
And Mega Boost doing a nice job trying to draw one back and redefine the pack at the back. Dusty's having a really hard time with Mean Little Mama chasing Amy, offering some anchor, swings a hip out. Finally, Dusty is through, but Meliwana is already back in the pack and picking up more points.
And she calls off the jam.
9-0 start. Exactly the kind of start I think Montreal probably wanted. And now up to the 12:34 skate line to jam is number 905, Ballerina. And she is facing off against Miracle Whips, speaking of the rookie. This is Ballerina's second year with CN Power.
Yeah, Whip's also not just stepping into the team, but stepping in as one of the regular jammers in the rotation. And I'm a little surprised by that. I thought, you know, with Georgia W. Tush on the team, she would be the one called on to pick up more of the slack.
Right.
And she barely jammed at all in that first bout.
Didn't need to, yeah. Miracle Whips looks very comfortable, and she is your lead jammer here. As Ballerina now trying to work a 2-fall up the front. Nice offense, simple little offensive play from Smack Daddy. And Cheese Grater, but Cheese Grater is, oh, sorry, that's not. Couldn't see who that was heading to the penalty box for Montreal, but a Montreal blocker in the box. 13-0 now is the score.
That score's easy, sitting down.
Honey Badger now out there, another one who had a strong game earlier on against Ohio. And Motorhead Molly had a big second half against Bleeding Heartland. CN Power with a 4-3 pack advantage, lining up at the back line. Rennie Rumble, Dinah Hercha, Jubilee, and Mega Boosh out there.
Montreal's getting their blocking from Mange, Little Mama, and Jess Bandit.
Both teams just going all D all the time. Jess Bandit takes down Motorhead Molly up quickly, gets drawn back.
Bandit backs up all the way to the pivot line to recycle Mahler.
That's right. Honey Badger getting called on a cut. She is going to the penalty box. Mega Boosh, blocker for Toronto, also on the way to the box. Big opportunity here for Toronto early on to get back in this one. Molly is through, and she is your lead jammer, the first lead picked up. And they're going to have a little bit of time to work with here, try and get back in this game. 3-on-3 of the packs. Rennie Rumble goes into sweep. Oh, nice big hit from Dinah Hercha on Little Mama, clears a path, and Toronto now on the board. 13-5, you can hear the roar of the crowd.
Very educated crowd here in the bunker. They know the importance of each of these little plays and cheering and booing accordingly.
Yeah, and I think the anticipation of this matchup drew a lot of skaters in from a lot of the surrounding leagues here in Ontario. 54 in growing active leagues in the province. Motorhead Molly, though, having a hard time in this power jam. Little Mama with strong defense. Mange Malkou getting involved, too. And, of course, Jess Bandit scores easy back on the track. Her penalty has expired. And finally, Dinah Hercha going in for some offense.
Shrugs off a hit from Little Mama, keeps going.
And through, but boy, she earned those 5 points. And back on the track is Honey Badger very quickly through the pack. Her initial pass done, and Motorhead Molly with an opportunity to pick up a few more points before this jam concludes. 20 seconds left on the jam clock. Honey Badger coming quickly. Molly calls it off. Did she get any more? She did not. Whew. Furious action here in the early going. 4 minutes in, it's 13-10. As tight as we would have expected it.
Yeah, not just expected, but really hoped for.
Yes.
Like this.
I think for a long time we've been hoping for someone to compete with the Skids at this level.
Yeah, and to have a good rivalry within driving distance, with bouts that are meaningful, very, very exciting for fans of either team to be here today.
That's right, both teams already picked up a ton of WFTDA ranking points with their massive victories earlier on, but Greta Bobo now picks up the lead jammer status for Montreal. Montreal is taking the advantage of gameplay here early on. Only that power jam keeping Toronto in it right now. Toronto, though, got off to a slow start against Bleeding Heartland earlier before really coming on strong. So let's see if they can make those adjustments here.
Demanda Lashing sent to the penalty box for Montreal for a forearm. And she's going to be joined there by Cheese Grater.
Oh, and looks like Ballerina heading to the box on a low block call. So Ballerina in the penalty box. Power jam now for the new Skids on the block, looking to pad their lead, up 18-10 right now. Greta Bobo skating a nice hit from Pantyhoser, pushes Bobo back, and it's going to force her to re-enter behind the pack. CN Power resetting their defense now. Oh, and a nice hit from Scarcasm. She's going to draw Greta Bobo back. This was a big component of their success in the playoffs last year in Salem, was Toronto's ability to kill off these power jams. And we're seeing that now. Scarcasm with some nice one-on-one work. Bobo finally through with her first scoring pass of this power jam.
Bobo having some problems getting through on that pass. I'm not sure. Yeah, she's taking the panty off, and she's looking for a pivot.
Pass has been made.
She is greater. Looks like she's the jammer now.
Or is that Tush? That's Tush. Georgia,
it's her white skates.
The white skates and the dyed hair throwing me off as well. Look at Bruiseberry Pie all over. But she was out of play, had to let her go. Nice penalty kill, though, as Ballerina comes back on the track. Just 10 points against the new Skids on the block. But Jammer's having a really hard time. The Montreal defense has been solid early on here as they have built a 23-point lead now, 7 minutes into this game. And we're seeing Dinah Hercha now on the 1234 Skate Company jammer line against Meliwana. There's Sparkles Bolts, the mascot. Toronto Roller Derby. Whenever we travel to the States, they always think it's a syringe. It's remarkable how many Americans never heard of the CN Tower.
Yeah, we're the tallest freestanding structure in the world for decades and decades.
Yeah. Oh, and a big tangle up, scores easy, and Dinah Hercha getting tangled up at the back of the pack. Surgical Strike and Jess Bandit working beautifully together right now. Rennie Rumble trying to work some offense, open up a hole. She's the lone blocker on the track, though, for Toronto.
Meliwana takes advantage of the chaos in the pack to lap everyone. That's a grand slam for Montreal.
A very easy grand slam with only one blocker on the track. Finally, Dinah Hercha able to get through on the inside. Meliwana, though, back through and picking up 4 more points. You and What Army telling her to keep going. They're really trusting their defense. We saw this earlier as well. It looks like that risk is going to pay off one more time with a 4-2 pack advantage.
Again, she's getting waved on by the bench.
Dinah Hercha passing up to Candy Crossbones. Meliwana getting in on the defense. Nice little knockout and drag back by Dinah Hercha as Candy Crossbones trying to add a little bit of a physical element to this Toronto offense and trying to break through these walls. But Little Mama going chest to chest. Now Surgical Strike. Just doesn't get easier as you go on down that defensive line, does it?
Jess Bandit acting as general, directing them both, and that's got to be confusing as a jammer to like finish battling someone built like Little Mama and then run into Surgical Strike next. Like you really have to change how you're playing in that split second.
So 3-3 in the pack. 50-14, Montreal starting to build a little distance here against Toronto. Motorhead Molly on the line against Miracle Whips. Motorhead Molly trying to push through that tight scrum start. Neither jammer able to find a hole. Finally, Miracle Whips sees one. Nice little hit back by Pantyhosers, off to a strong start in this game. Scarcasm picking up the defense.
everyone else knocked to the inside at turn number 1. They all have to back up to avoid cutting.
And finally, Miracle Whips is through, and she is your lead jammer. And once again, the Toronto jammers just having a really hard time getting through these tight walls from Montreal. Smack Daddy pulling Motorhead Molly back.
Whips dodges another big hit. That's enough to get her through for a grand slam.
And Motorhead Molly is through as well, but 5 points already on the board in this jam, and Miracle Whips heading up to the pack. Oh, makes a nice little sneaky move around Jubilee at the back. And wow, Miracle Whips continuing to impress today.
Playing with confidence for a rookie in WFTDA ranked play.
Yeah. So 59-14 is the score. Montreal on top early, and I think the story so far is the defense. This timeout is brought to you by Jackson Skates, as all timeouts are. Also like to thank Rumbling Rage Derby Shop for their support of the Quad City Chaos 2014. Rumbling Rage Derby Shop is a Canadian roller derby company owned, roller derby skater owned and operated and based in Barrie, Ontario. Sorry, it's getting so loud in here, Scott.
The mascot pumping up the crowd.
Yeah.
Non-stop excitement. Well, we got a little bit more time to thank some more of our sponsors. Toronto's alternative news and entertainment source, Now Magazine, is the official media sponsor of Toronto Roller Derby. Check them out at nowtoronto.com.
All right, we are back and ready to go again. Honey Badger out there to jam against Ballerina. 4-3 pack advantage for Toronto Roller Derby. They're going to have to find a way to get some offense going to help their jammers. The Montreal defense has just been phenomenal early on here. Ballerina trying to juke inside and out. She's using the whole track. Mange Malku now with a Little Mama the last 2 lines of defense. And finally, Ballerina makes her way through, and she is your lead jammer. Both Little Mama and Ballerina members of Team Canada. And Honey Badger having a hard time now with the Montreal defense, with the Toronto defense. Eventually she does get through.
And Ballerina takes a big hit from Little Mama.
But Little Mama went way out of bounds. Oh, and another big hit from Surgical Strike.
Strike backs her up, recycles her.
Honey Badger already through now and also picking up points. Both jammers scoring points here.
One-on-one battle with Dinah Hercha. Dinah picks up a forearm penalty, and that sends her to the box, clearing the way for the Honey Badger through.
Honey Badger picks up the points, and again, that Montreal defense, a big hit from Mange Malku. And knocks Ballerina down. Mega Boosh now with a big hit of her own and aims to kill, dragging Honey Badger back. Oh, and Surgical Strike and Jess Bandit have just been phenomenal as a duo in this game. Mega Boosh with a big hit now, sending Honey Badger out, but it looks like Boosh is heading to the penalty box for that. Both jammers picking up 4 points. 67-18 now. And there is the penalty box. Dinah Hercha and Rennie Rumble, 2 very important skaters for this team. And it looks like Mega Boosh is on deck. She's out there with Candy Crossbones. 3-2 pack advantage here as Dusty is back out on the line against Greta Bobo. Chasing Amy and Georgia W. Tush. Working with Demanda Lashing to hold back Dusty.
And Bobo muscles her way through the front of the pack and gets by Mega Boosh. She was the lead jammer for this one.
Oh, and Dust Bunny being sent off. Another elbowing call on a Toronto skater. And another power jam for Montreal.
Again, it's Greta Bobo out there. We'll see if she can do a little bit better, or if Toronto's defense is going to be just as smothering as it was to her on the last power jam opportunity.
Dinah Hercha getting back now on the track. And oh, another big hit right there from Candy Crossbones. It will be a no pass, no penalty, though, because Candy Crossbones also went out of bounds. Oh, nope. It was a full 5. The Toronto defense now setting up Montreal, though, all 4 blockers on the track. Nice work again by the CN Power defense. Montreal sending some blockers up, try and play some O. Nice shot there of the second straightaway, and the great defense on this penalty kill. Oh, and another big hit. Now from Little Mama, who was trying to open things up. Oh, Greta Bobo sent to the penalty box. And Dusty now back on the track and coming around, but it is a 4-wall of neon at the back. A very intimidating sight indeed, but Dusty trying to work both sides of the track.
A little bit confusing there exactly what happened, because Little Mama is holding the star pantry.
And I think there was some kind of failed star pass. I think the jammer is actually in the box. I think she went to the box before the pass. I'm sure we'll get an explanation for this. Dusty with a nice little move to come around and pick up 5 points, 77-23. So yeah, Greta Bobo has been reestablished as the jammer in the penalty box. So she must have picked up an infraction during the pass. There you can see Bobo as the jammer in the box and Little Mama as the pivot. There is some discussion about the helmet cover. And we're off. Ballerina now out to jam on this power start. Toronto with another opportunity here to get back in this game. She is your lead jammer. Smack Daddy being goaded at the back of the pack. Nice old school trapping from Toronto going on right here. Aims to kill. Working well with Rennie Rumble. Ballerina trying to make some moves. Aims to kill with some knife offense, and Ballerina is through. 5 points picked up. And there is Greta Bobo coming out of the penalty box.
She completes her initial pass.
Ballerina back around to score a few more.
Bobo is
gonna
not
have to call it off. She does.
Now.
45 points now is the difference. New Skids on the block, still controlling things, but at the midway point of the first half, it's far from being over. Motorhead Molly back out there, number 204 in the pink for Toronto. Meliwana, number 420 for the Neon Army. 4-3 pack advantage slight for Toronto. Oh, and there's another mascot. That is Chronic, skater with the Bay Street Bruisers out there with Sparkles Bolts. Meliwana having a hard time now with Dinah Hercha and Candy Crossbones at the back of the pack, and that's going to allow Motorhead Molly to get through and pick up a big lead for Toronto. Some momentum coming their way.
Both teams now skating almost at full strength. At full strength, yes.
And it is key, I think, for Toronto to keep their full packs on there, because right now they're having a hard time. Motorhead Molly gets knocked to the inside, calls it off, picks up all 4 points. A little bit of a run here as Toronto tries to claw their way back in it. Once again, dug themselves a hole early.
Shout out to sponsor Pivot Star. CN Power would like to give a big thank you to Pivot Star for those awesome jerseys. Pivot Star makes uniforms simple. No minimums, no wait times, no problems. High quality athletic jerseys that keep your focus on your game. Check them out at pivotstar.com.
Miracle Whips out there for Montreal. Ballerina for Toronto. Neither jammer able to make up much ground here, as we are seeing some great defense from both teams. Finally, Jubilee and Megaboosh go up to help with some offense for Ballerina. She's got 2 to beat, but it is that dynamic duo of Jess Bandit and Surgical Strike. And she is through as your lead jammer, Ballerina. A lot of action going on in the pack, though. Megaboosh heading back to the penalty box, and Miracle Whips also going to the box on a cut. Another opportunity here for Toronto. You can feel slight momentum shift occurring, but the question is, can Toronto maintain it?
So far, they've been able to capitalize on the opportunities that's been given to them. Penalties, they're not going to help your team, and Montreal has made a few of them in a row, really inopportune times.
Yeah, that was a nice little toe stop step on the inside line to stay in against all 4 Montreal blockers. There's only 2 blockers on the track there for Toronto, so they're just going to kind of let Ballerina go. Now they go in for a sweep. Jubilee with a nice little hit. Frees up some room. Such great defense, though, again, from the New Skids on the block.
She gets knocked out of bounds, and Bandit backs up all the way the other New Skids bridge. And very slowly trying to avoid that cut.
Yeah.
Losing a lot of time on the power jam.
Jess Bandit and Ballerina, both members of Team Canada. Here comes Ballerina now, back on her scoring pass. Tries to find a way through, sees a 2-wall. Meets it, Miracle Whips back on the track very quickly through the pack. And Ballerina's gonna call it off. And end it 77-41. 43, 44, 46, excuse me. 29-point difference.
Yeah, Ballerina picked up a few points before being recycled back, so ref didn't throw up those numbers until the jam was over.
And Dust Bunny now on the line. Lined up against Honey Badger. This has been a pretty good matchup so far this game. CN Power again setting up in the back. Dusty getting knocked out by Chasing Amy. Oh, and Demanda Lashing with a nice last-minute hit to push Dusty out at turn number 1. And that allows Badger to sneak through and pick up lead jammer.
I think that was a heads-up play by Smack Daddy, who saw Dusty trying to squeak by and just threw Demanda Lashing at her.
Yeah, nice work. Here comes Honey Badger now on her scoring pass. Picks up a few points, going to try and get a full pass before Dusty sneaks in. And did Dusty get any? None for Toronto. Just waiting for confirmation for the Montreal Jam ref. Confirming with the outside pack ref, and 2 points on the board now for Honey Badger. So Montreal picking up their first points in a few jams.
Staying out of the penalty box. Only gonna help Montreal.
There is a 4-3 pack advantage right here. Montreal choosing to start at the pivot line.
Little Mama sitting in the penalty box for Montreal.
Greta Bobo having a hard time with the Toronto blockers at the back of the pack.
She got called for a cut, and it is a power jam for CN Power.
And Ballerina out there to jam it. All 4 Toronto blockers are on the track. Surgical Strike separated from her Montreal line. Oh, and Ballerina tried to sneak through on the inside. Surgical Strike was not having it. Really impressed with this duo, Surgical Strike and Jess Bandit working together.
Bandit knocks her out of bounds, backs her up again.
Scores easy heading to the penalty box. Oh, and so is Jess Bandit. Big opportunity now for Toronto with only 2 Montreal blockers on the track. 4-2 pack advantage, power jam.
Yeah, I think what happened there was Bandit saw Surgical Strike backing up with her, but didn't realize that Strike was not on the track. Got a penalty for breaking the pack.
Nice little sweep to the outside from Toronto. 79-56. Getting closer. Ballerina back around the track very quickly. Comes up to that 2-wall. And once more, Toronto going in for the sweep out, inside out. And once more, Ballerina picks up 5 points. We've got ourselves an 18-point game.
We saw 3 CN Power skaters there, all focus on Surgical Strike, trusting Ballerina to get by Little Mama on her own, and did so without too much difficulty. So,
and she did. Surgical Strike with a big hit now. Both jammers getting recycled. Bobo, as she re-entered, tried to sneak by.
Ballerina called for a track cut.
Oh, Ballerina off. So Power Jam now shifts back to Montreal.
Bobo hauling out there. She sees Ballerina hit the penalty box.
Coming in, nice little move by Surgical Strike, but aims to kill. The great hit, sending Bobo to the outside and forcing the call off. Or the end of the jam, sorry. Whew.
Non-stop action. You got to catch your breath. Look at the scoreboard, though. Toronto really picked up some big points there. The score is now 65 CN Power, 79 Montreal. That big lead that Montreal had, not so big anymore.
Yeah. Jubilee not happy with something in the penalty box. Jubilee now and Ballerina in the box. So an opportunity here for Montreal to perhaps rebuild their lead. Meliwana pushing Dinah Hercha all the way up that straightaway until she was out of play and had to let her go. Scoring pass now for the Montreal jammer. Bruceberry Pie slows her up. chasing Amy with some nice offense. Candy Crossbones, last line of defense. It's one last hit in.
Puck gets spread out, and gotta let her go.
Meliwana very quickly back around now, increasing that lead up to 19 points. Oh, and
Squeaks her way through.
Nice move to separate the Toronto blockers. And she's going to call that off and reset as Ballerina stands. So they'll have a power start on this next jam. 24 points now is the lead. Montreal now setting up on the 12:34 jam line. They're taking the back.
Ballerina, the only skater in the penalty box now. CN Power has all 4 blockers out.
Miracle Whip's going to try and take advantage of this opportunity to get lead. Nice defense right off the start from Toronto. Skids just setting for Ballerina to re-enter. No pack called, just as Ballerina hits it. Aims to kill, centering that line. Oh, Rennie Rumble just couldn't push her out. Strong skater, Miracle Whips.
Whips is a skater who's put a lot of personal effort into becoming a better roller derby player. Traveled a lot, went to a lot of roller con, signed up for every challenge bout she could.
Yeah, I know she's visited Toronto on a few occasions just as she's passing through, and she comes to practice whenever she can. Yeah, really, really strong skater. I coached against her when I was a bench coach for the Bay Street Bruisers last year, and she gave us, yeah, it was stressful whenever she was on the jam line. Speaking of the 12th.
Yeah, no, it's still surprising to see the level of success. You know,
Yeah.
you haven't seen her skate
At this level.
and she's really carved out a place for herself on this team.
Motorhead Molly able to almost get through. She has been named your lead jammer, although she still hasn't cleared all the Montreal jams. Finally does. And Honey Badger now having a hard time with Rennie Rumble. Rennie Rumble gets pushed off by Smack Daddy. Honey Badger is through. Motorhead Molly coming around to scoring, hits Smack Daddy. Motorhead Molly dancing around this pack, looking for all the points, calls it off. Just not quite in time. That'll be a 2-1 jam. (90-67) now, back to a 23-point lead. And Greta Bobo out there against Ballerina. Toronto once again taking in the back line at the 12:34 skate line, or jam line. And the jammers are off. Ballerina finding a way through. Dinah Hercha knocking Greta Bobo to the outside. Jubilee drawing her back. Ballerina at the turn 1 gets lead jammer. Greta Bobo sees that outside line, shrugs off a big hit from Aims to Kill. She's got about a half a track to make up. Ballerina now has to watch. She gets in, calls it off. Did she call it off in time? Again, another few stolen points for the new Skids. 3-2.
Greta Bobo is one of those skaters from Montreal. It's good to see her back on the track. She had suffered a really serious shoulder injury a couple years ago, and just really kept her off skates for such a long time. And if that was me, I would be completely gun shy.
And I noticed she used to tape her shoulder too, and now that you mentioned it, I noticed that the tape is no longer there.
Yeah, she used to wear a full rig to protect the shoulder.
Oh, yeah, right. Oh, that's what it was. Yeah.
Velcro straps and the whole thing, and she's back to being fearless.
And looking good early on here. Meliwana has also been looking very good early on, and she is your lead jammer. Dusty, takes a big hit from Demanda Lashing, who's being sent to the penalty box for that. Surgical strike with a nice hit, being tossed around by Smack Daddy. Smack Daddy's very good at pushing her teammates. And Dusty finally able to get through as Meliwana comes up and starts to score. Candy Crossbones trying to hold her back. Nice defense from Candy, forces her outside. May have saved a point there. No, she didn't. All 4 points scored.
Put an end to Montreal's scoring, though. Had to call off the jam as Dusty was coming around, bat out of hell, looking to score.
Miracle Whips and Ballerina back out there. This is seems to be a matchup that Toronto is trying to make, keeping Balla with Miracle Whips. Last year we saw it again in the Bay Street Bruisers, the Sexpo's Rainbow Fight, and Miracle Whips had some fantastic battles on the jam line. And Miracle Whips, takes a big hit from Ames to kill. And that may have bought Ballerina enough time to get through, and she is your lead jammer, and it's a power jam.
Miracle Whips called for a track cut. Kind of dazed after that big hit, wandered back onto the track.
Maybe she didn't realize that part of her body had gone out of bounds. It was such a big hit. Ballerina, though, picks up 5 more points. She has been the recipient of the majority of these power jams for Toronto.
The lead is cut to 21.
And here comes Ballerina with only 2 Skids blockers on the track. Mange goes in for the hit, but Ballerina able to absorb it and stay on her feet, pick up 5 more points. 16 points now is the difference. And Ballerina with a nice move around Jess Bandit at turn number 3, picking up another 5. 10, 11-point game. Once again, Balla very quickly back around on the scoring pass. Staying in bounds on her tip of her toes. We have ourselves a 6-point game. The Toronto bench imploring Ballerina to call it off. It's going to be a little too late. Miracle Whips has picked up, or has come back onto the track. And Ballerina being called for a cut.
The Toronto bench is not going to be happy about that.
No, and it was the confusion of the conversation, but it did look like she straddled. But apparently she must have lifted her foot, I believe, to incur that penalty. So Toronto had come all the way back, and now another power jam. Although, to be fair, I think the teams have been trading power jams, so keep this even.
Well, that was a power jam where CN Power was able to take full advantage of it. They picked up the points, and to not hear the instructions to call off the jam, a little bit heartbreaking.
Yeah. Yep.
That's halftime.
That is halftime. That half went very quickly, and it has lived up there. The look at the penalties. We'll get all of those updated for you for the second half. Right now at halftime, it's a thriller in the bunker, 101-94. 7 points, Scott, is the difference. I think it's going to come down to who makes the last mistake, who gets the last power jam.
I'm so excited for this bout. I can't express how happy I am that I'm here getting to watch it happen. And the rivalry between these two cities in all sports has come to roller derby.
Yes, finally.
And I'm super excited. I can't wait for the second half.
It's going to be a good one, and I'm sure you can't either. If you're watching this, tell your friends, tell everyone what about it has been. We're going to be back in 13 minutes to give you the second half of this showdown between Montreal's new Skids on the block and Toronto's CN Power. For Single Malt Scott and the Tord TV crew, I'm the Derby Nerd. We'll be back in 15 minutes.